Junctions are where most people fail their driving test, and one of the main reasons is not looking properly and coming out when you shouldn't come out of a junction. I want to make sure that I don't get in anyone's way, because the people that are on this road here have priority. So I need to make sure that before I come out, that there's enough space for me to do that without slowing them down or without making them change direction. And turning right like this can take a long time sometimes because it's busy. So right now I can see a motorbike coming from that side, and I can see lots of traffic coming from this side. Then once I can see a big space on this side, I can go in the middle without going too far forward. And then now there's enough space on this side, there's no one coming from there. And then I can make my move. The mistake lots of learners make there is they get tired of waiting, or they think they're waiting too long. If there's lots of traffic, you have to keep waiting, there's no other choice. You can also fail for taking too long to move at a junction when it's clear. So like right now I'm waiting because it's busy, but if I see a huge gap and then I don't go for it, you're not going to fail for this straight away. But if you keep doing this, or if there's a really obvious big gap and you're not going, it's going to show that you're not really confident to be on the road, especially if people behind you start to get affected now. So like now there's nothing here. If I keep waiting, there's no need for me to wait here. I could get a fail for this. So instead, once you know that it's safe and you're confident to go, you should move. A lot of learners on the test day, they try to be extra careful and they do more than they normally do on their driving lessons. Don't do it like that. Drive how you drive on your driving lessons, because if you're now being too cautious at junctions, you run the risk of taking too long when you should have gone. Slowing down properly before you turn is really important, and sometimes what learners will do is they'll brake way too late before the turn, or slam their brake just before the turn. This can be quite dangerous. Let me show you. So let's say I'm turning into this road, but then I realize I'm going a bit quick, and if I brake really hard just before the turn, the person behind me is not going to expect me to do that because they're thinking that I'm going to make the turn smoothly. So you want to avoid that by braking nice and early so that the person behind you realizes what you're doing. Also, you don't have to brake hard before the turn. Coming up to this turn here, I'm going to brake nice and early so that by the time I come to turn, I'm already going slow. I don't have to brake harder here because I've already achieved the speed that I wanted beforehand. So the giveaway lines are painted in a place so that you don't go too far and interfere with the traffic on the other road. What some learners will do is, without realizing, they'll stop too far past the giveaway line. So they'll stop somewhere like here. So this is way too far past the giveaway line. And if a car came now and you're in the way, they either have to go past you, around you, or they have to stop for you. That's going to be a fail. So to prevent that from happening, there's a couple of things you got to do. Firstly, don't approach the giveaway lines too fast, because then you don't know how to judge where to stop. And you can also use a reference point if you're not sure as well. Let me show you. So how you approach a junction is really important. If you approach it too fast, it can be dangerous because you can overshoot the giveaway line. Or even if you don't overshoot the giveaway line, if someone's there going past you, it can be quite scary for them. So if I'm approaching this junction here, for instance, I know I need to give way, but this will be way too fast to approach it. There could be someone there, someone crossing the road. There could be a car coming down this way. If you know you're coming up to a giveaway situation, you want to make sure that you're reducing your speed nice and early so that by the time you get near the junction, even if no one is there, if you approach it too fast, it's going to be a fail. But if you do it this slowly, this way you have time to think about what you need to do and you can turn nice and safely. So this car in front of us is positioned perfectly to turn left. But if I position myself here to turn left, especially if this junction was wider, this could create problems, especially if someone was there now trying to go in before me. That could lead to a fail. So to avoid that kind of mistake, if you're turning left, make sure you position yourself left just like that learner car did. If you're going to turn right, position yourself along the line that separates the left and the right, and then turn right. So if that car was to turn in front of that car, this one, that would have been a serious fault on your driving test. That's one of the faults that can happen. Going in front of a car that's coming towards you and turning in front of them when they have priority, if they're too close, that could be a serious fault. The easiest way to avoid that kind of fault is to look at that car coming towards you and then think to yourself, if I was walking here, would I walk across? So the rule is called walk across, drive across, which means that if you could walk across, there's a pedestrian from one side of the road to the other, then that means you can drive across as well. If you can't walk across there, then you shouldn't be driving across because there's not enough time. So like I'm taking this right here. With that white car coming towards me, I wouldn't walk across the road right now because they're too close. So I wait for a nice gap. Now I can see there's no one coming towards me. Then I can make my turn, because if I was walking there, I would have walked across nice and easily because there's no car coming towards me. So another mistake you can make is turning into a no entry. So I want to turn right here, but you see this sign here that says no entry. Some learners might try to go in there, and that's going to be a serious fault. I'm not going to show you obviously to go in there because it's a no entry, so I can't go in there. But to avoid that kind of mistake, before you turn, look out for the signs. If it's got that no entry sign, don't turn into that road. Another clue that you can't enter that road is if there's a giveaway line all the way across the road, that means you can't turn into it. It's for people that are coming out of that road. So look out for the giveaway lines and for the no entry sign as well. So on these kind of roads that are quite tight, you've got to be really careful that you don't get too close to the cars that are parked up before you turn. So like now I'm going to be turning left, but what you see a lot of learners do, so you see here there's not enough space. So right now I'm driving in the middle of this whole road, but what you see some learners trying to do is try to fit into this lane here, and then they end up getting way too close to this red car. The examiner will have to push the steering wheel away for you because you're too close. Instead of doing it like that, what you need to do is make sure that you stick to your side first, and then once you have space to go back on the left, then you go back on the left. So this time, instead of sticking really close to the left, I'm going to keep to the middle of the road until I go past the last parked car. So I'm turning left, so mirror, mirror, signal. So you see I'm sticking to the middle of the road like here, and I'm going to slow down a lot. And then once I go past the car, I'll check my mirror, and then I go to the left. So this way I'm not too close to it, and now I'm on my side of the road. Once I check it's safe, I can make my move. So when I turn left here, I want to make sure that I turn on my side of the road, which is the left. And what you see sometimes people doing is when they turn, they don't turn enough, they turn really wide like this and end up getting on the wrong side of the road. And that's an issue because now you're driving on the wrong side. People might think you're even parking on that side. To avoid that, you want to make sure you turn nice and sharply, sticking to your side of the road. I'm going to check first and then turn nice and sharply, keeping to my side, keeping the speed down a little bit as well so that I don't go too fast towards the wrong direction. When you're turning right, if I'm turning like here, you will get failed for this because you're turning on the wrong side of the road, and if somebody was there, it could cause a big problem. So to avoid that, before you turn, make sure this mirror is lined up with the center line of the road that you're trying to turn into. That way when you turn, you're not going to be turning too early or too late. So this time, before I turn into this road, I want to make sure that my mirror is lined up with the center line like this. That way when I turn now, it's nice and easy. I'm on my side of the road and I'm not cutting the corner. This is split into two lanes here, and what sometimes you might see learners do is using both lanes like this to turn right. This is going to be a serious fault because you're now taking up two lanes and necessarily you should be in one lane or the other for turning left or turning right. When turning right, there are boxes sometimes by the junction, and if you don't use this box to turn right properly, so let's say I got to wait here, but I end up waiting somewhere like around here, I could end up blocking the cars behind me, but this car stopped for me. I could end up blocking the cars behind me and they can't go past, and that's going to be a serious fault because I should have used the box to wait in there and then make my turn so that any cars that are behind me can freely go past without me being in their way. So the correct way would be to make sure that I enter that box. So I'm going to avoid this first box because that's for people turning over here. But then once I get to this position, I can check my mirror and then enter this box just like that. And if anybody's coming down the road, I can wait for them in this position and I'm not going to get in anybody's way. So once I get enough space, then I can make my turn. We are approaching this junction which has a lot of signs telling us to stop. We've got two signs on the sides and some road markings on the floor telling us to stop as well. And what you see some learners do, sometimes they'll even miss the sign completely, or they'll approach you like this, go really slowly, and then go through thinking, yeah, I've done that really well. But you would fail for that because you didn't actually come to a full stop. To do that properly, make sure you stop your car fully so that the wheels are not moving. To make it easier for yourself, you might want to stop and put the handbrake on just so you know for certain that you've come to a full stop. So this time, instead of creeping through the stop line. I'm actually going to come to a full stop by the line over there. So even though it's clear like it is right now, I'm going to come to a stop, handbrake on for a second, check again, it's looking good, then I can make my move. That way I've definitely stopped and I'm not going to fail for that.